By imperial decree, seize and confiscate. Lin Yan, head of the Four Seas Pavilion, hoarding goods for profiteering, disrupting the imperial order. Your status is hereby revoked. All assets are confiscated. You are exiled to the Canyon Wasteland. Master Lin. So what if your Four Seas Pavilion is wealthy enough to rival the nation? From today on, all the shops, deeds, and warehouses under your name belong to my prince's estate. Your Highness went to such trouble to fabricate these charges, just to fill the deficit in your private treasury of 30 million taels. This vast fortune, I will give it to you. I'm just afraid you won't be able to handle it. Insolence. Still talking tough when death is at your doorstep. Tomorrow morning, I will watch with my own eyes as you, like a stray dog, crawl out of the capital. As for tonight, I shall hold a victory banquet right here in your Four Seas Pavilion. Then I will not disturb your Highness in counting your assets. Ha ha ha. Look at that. This is the head of the world's greatest merchant guild, scuttling away like a coward. From now on, the Four Seas Pavilion belongs to the Zhao family. Guards, convey my order. We celebrate all night long. Bring out all the aged wine in storage. Ha ha ha. Cleaner than if a mouse had licked it. Since the Crown Prince loves money so much, maybe I should help him clear out his own coffers. The guards at the prince's private treasury are really tight. Since I'm leaving anyway, I might as well take your family fortune with me. Consider it, Your Highness, sponsoring me as starting capital for developing the wasteland. Not bad. This is the secret ledger the Crown Prince uses to record his cronies and his embezzlement and bribery. This thing is a lethal tool that will cost him his life later. Gentlemen, behold the half of the great Zhou I have secured. Taken from the people, used for the wasteland. Lin Yan. Lin Yan, don't think you're still some great chief. Now that you're in my hands, if you're a dragon, you must coil up. If you're a tiger, you must lie down. This 3,000-li path of exile is going to be plenty for you to endure. On this journey, I don't want to wear shackles, I don't want to see any coarse food, and I don't want to stay in dilapidated, drafty temples. If this job is done well, once we reach the Canyon Wasteland, there will be a tenfold reward. What are you staring at? Chief Lin, no, no, no. Master Lin, rest assured, on this journey, the brothers will definitely serve you comfortably. Exile? No. This is an expedition to develop my fiefdom. Kangyan Wasteland. The most remote, most desolate, ancient frigid land of the Great Zhou. A living hell in everyone's eyes. But in my eyes, it is a place where the mountains are high and the emperor is far away. A land free from any decaying rules and constraints. A land with no master. This Great Zhou, rotten to the core. I'm done serving. I am going to take that wasteland and use my enemy's money to build a city that belongs only to me. Chief, ahead is the one-line sky gorge. The terrain is treacherous, with steep cliffs on both sides, suitable for an ambush. Should I have the brothers scout the path first? No need to scout. They've grown impatient. Ambush. Form a defensive perimeter around the client. Boss. Are you shaken? There are 42 assassins in total. Wipe them all out. Leave no survivors. These assassins move with disciplined coordination. They aren't ordinary bandits. These dozens of assassins are likely all he could muster at the moment. His very last reserves. Thank you all for your hard work. This job was a bit tricky. 200 taels of silver bonus for everyone. Captain, draw it from my account. Pay them immediately. The boss is generous. Our lives belong to you, boss. This is just the first return gift. Since you want to play, then I'll play along with you. Just don't know how much longer you can last. Those three, what is their background? Boss. Those individuals are all people in the Great Zhou dynasty, upstanding men framed by the Crown Prince's faction. That old gentleman is Lu Mingyuan, the former Vice Minister of Works, because he refused to use inferior timber to build the Imperial Mausoleum. The Crown Prince labeled him a corrupt official. The one holding the medicine chest is the former head of the Imperial Medical Academy, Sun Sibo. He refused to help harem concubines use potent, harmful drugs to vie for favor, and was demoted and exiled. That young man playing with dirt is Zhou He, a genius from the Ministry of Agriculture. He bred high-yield, drought-resistant crops, but his superior stole the credit, and even accused him of hoarding them, getting him sent to the frontier. The Great Zhou is rotten beyond belief. They take the finest master architects, a master of medicine, and an agricultural prodigy, are cast aside like trash. But in my eyes, these men are the cornerstone of the new empire I will build in the Kangyan Wasteland. Go, borrow the post station's kitchen, slaughter 2 sheep, cook the finest white rice, and simmer a few pots of rich ginger soup. Take it to them. I cannot accept unearned favors. Miss, what is the meaning of this? My name is Lin Yanyuan, former head of the Four Seas Pavilion. My status now is the same as yours. Just another prisoner exiled to the Kangyan Wasteland. The Four Seas Pavilion's legendary wealth is known to all. However, has Boss Lin considered that this is Great Joe? A merchant's status is not much higher than a criminal's. You are all men of talent, men of integrity. Yet due to the tides of fate, you have suffered greatly. This meal is my way, Lin Yan, of honoring your principles. In today's imperial court, principles aren't even worth a single copper. I am but a man nearing his end. Boss Lin's meal. I cannot afford to eat it. What if I could turn your blueprints into reality? What did you say? Great Joe cannot contain you or me. The canyon wasteland is remote, without a ruler and without rules. The imperial court may not want you, but I do, as long as you are all willing. In this wilderness, the funds to build a settlement, I will provide. I will take care of the materials. Physician's son, you could build a medical office that doesn't have to kowtow to powerful elites, a truly independent clinic dedicated solely to saving lives and healing the wounded. And you, with this vast expanse of black soil, you could grow the highest yielding crops in the entire world. No need to worry about anyone stealing the credit for your work. The Great Joe Empire has no room for your talents. Why not build a place of our own to call home? There is no coercion here. We won't talk about loyalty. This is simply a mutually beneficial business deal. Are you willing to take the risk? I'll pledge my life to Boss Lin. A secret conversation that would later be recorded in history books as the cornerstone of the founding of Canyon took place just like that in a dilapidated post station over a simple, ordinary meal. And a pact was formed. The master of the Sea-High Pavilion, this fat, stray sheep in distress, has finally fallen right into my hands. Is that the caravan of Master Lin from the Sea-High Pavilion up ahead? I am the prefect of Yanmen Pass. I have heard much about you indeed. It is my official duty that all caravans leaving the pass must be strictly inspected and pay the border duties. I see that in your caravan, Boss Lin. There seem to be quite a few contraband luxury goods. He never misses a chance to take his cut. That nickname of his is certainly well earned. You are right, Prefect Wang. Rules, after all, cannot be broken. It's just that my caravan is quite large, and an inspection would likely be time-consuming and arduous. How about this? I will voluntarily stay at Yanmen Pass for 3 days, and sell off some of the excess supplies right here. Before heading out, how does that sound? Boss Lin, you're a straightforward person indeed. I will grant you a 3-day extension. Ha ha ha. He thinks that what he agreed to was my stay, but in reality, what he really agreed to was the countdown to his bankruptcy. In the Great Joe, salt and iron are state monopolized, and the purification technology is extremely poor. What is circulating on the market is all bitter and full of impurities, and the salt trade in Yanmen Pass is secretly monopolized by Magistrate Wang. The prices are exorbitant, and the people are suffering immensely, but the salt I brought from my storage space is top-grade snowflake salt. What is worse for him is that it costs only half the price of the government salt. Give me 10 caddies. This salt has no bitter taste. This isn't the coarse salt we usually eat. You can eat this salt directly with your rice. 20 caddies. I want 20 caddies. for those who use local merchant vouchers or silver to exchange for the snowflake salt. Get an extra 20% off. Quick, take the land deeds and all the cash in the vault to Magistrate Wang's bank. Convert it all into silver notes. Hurry up. If you're late, all the silver will be withdrawn. Open the door. I've come to withdraw my silver. There is no cash left. The capital chain is completely broken. Now, even the garrison's pay can't be issued. Boss Lin, I'm begging you. Just close up shop. I won't ask for the taxes in Yanmen Pass anymore. I'll even pay you 10,000 taels for travel expenses. I beg you, just leave the pass. You're too kind, Magistrate Wang. Since the taxes are waived, then this commoner will take his leave. Canyon Wasteland. I'm coming. Something isn't right up ahead. Halt. Defensive formation. This general is a legend of the Great Zhou, and also a tragedy. Born a commoner, he fought his way up to become General Zhen Yuan. He was upright, his integrity unwavering, refusing to bribe corrupt officials, and even less willing to collude with the crown prince. Consequently, he was suppressed by the civil officials and exiled to this desolate border to eat sand. This is a military-controlled zone. 30 miles further ahead is the exile camp. Walk there yourselves. Don't cause any trouble. General, it is bad. It is terrible. The Vice-General Liu Wu, while you were patrolling the border, has incited the troops to mutiny at the main camp. He says the imperial court has abandoned us and intends to lead the brothers to raid the nearby trade routes and the exile camp. Absurd. All troops, form ranks. Follow me back to camp. It is too late, General C. Brothers, since the imperial court leaves us no way to live, we will find our own path to survival. Up ahead is the exile caravan of the head of the world's premier merchant guild. There must be food in those carriages, and gold too. Let's rob them. Stand down. General, how much longer will you remain foolishly loyal? The brothers have already been drinking nothing but root and bark soup for half a month. Yesterday, Li Sanzi starved to death right at his post. Are you really going to watch these 50,000 brothers all become corpses in this wasteland? Brothers, don't listen to him. Charge and take the food. General C, hold on. You want grain. How much can you get by robbing? Enough to feed you for a day, or maybe two. And when it is gone, will you then bear the guilt of a crime, be wiped out by the imperial army, and end up implicating your families? Enough with the nonsense. You're a disgraced woman who can't even save herself, yet you dare lecture us. This isn't just coarse grain. This is white rice. The imperial court has cut off your supplies, leaving you to guard the border on empty stomachs. But I, Lin Yan, owe you nothing. These few carts are just a token of greeting. If you stay holed up here, you'll only be left with nothing but cold wind to eat and taking the fall for others. But follow me, Lin Yan, and I guarantee you fine grains every day, with the scent of meat at every meal, and you can still stand tall while serving as soldiers. If we can be fed, who cares who we risk our lives for? Seditious lies. That is a lie. He is trying to trick you all. Cut him down. Then the grain will be ours. Guards, seize this one who is inciting mutiny, this spy with malicious intent. Execute him according to military law. Grain of that quality. Even the imperial treasury of Great Zhou doesn't have it. You, a disgraced merchant whose assets were seized, how did you manage to transport it to this wasteland? General High Pavilion could only become the top merchant house in the realm. Not by relying on handouts from the imperial treasury, but through my own foresight, Lin Yan. The principle of not putting all one's eggs in one basket. I understood by the age of 8. The imperial court can seize the ledgers I place on the table, but they cannot track the hidden networks I have laid out over the years. These few carts are merely a tiny fraction of the stock that I have stored along the border of the wasteland. If the general gives the word, the remaining food will be enough for your 5 armies to eat for the next 3 years. What do you want? First, absolute armed protection. I want to build a city upon this unclaimed land. Your troops must serve as the defenders of this city. Second, an equal alliance. I am not your vassal, and you are not my subordinate. We are equal partners. I provide the funds, grain, and supplies, and you provide the military force and manpower. Once the city is built, internal affairs belong to me, and military power belongs to you. Build a city in this barren Kangyan wasteland. General you must have seen the few men in my group today. The former Minister of Works, Lu Mingyuan, the head of the Imperial Medical Academy, Sun Sibo, and the agricultural genius from the Ministry of Agriculture. Do you think that it is barren because the land is incapable, or because the Imperial Court never gave you a chance? Very well. I, Shi Jingchen, on behalf of the 50,000 soldiers of the Kangyan Border Army, accept your alliance. From this day forward, wherever the blades point, all obstacles shall be cleared for our ally. Should I break this oath, may the heavens strike me down. Agreed. Lord Lu. The blueprints for the restoration and expansion of this ancient city. I need to see them within 3 days. Rest assured, Chief, with your funding and materials, this old man will risk his life to build the strongest city in the world. Imperial Physician Sun, I will allocate top-grade golden wound medicine, hemostatic powder, and cold medicine for you. The camp is full of wounded soldiers, so I'm counting on you. I need you to take the lead in establishing an independent medical station, no matter how much medicine it costs. We must save the soldiers' lives. At the same time, select some clever young people to open a medical school. A physician has a parent's heart. Chief Lin, this act of yours is immensely virtuous. Zhou He, I will have General C allocate 500 of the strongest soldiers to you. Go outside the city to survey the soil. I want to see the first batch of cold-resistant crop test fields before winter. Seeds. I will provide you with the best quality. Chief, even if I, Zhou He, have to irrigate them with my own blood, I will grow food for you. Chief, a message by carrier pigeon from the Kangsing Chamber of Commerce. The alliance of the three major merchants of the western regions, the Golden Camel, Silver Sand, and Iron Horse, have already set off. They are expected to arrive this afternoon. Kangyan City is such a large piece of fat meat. How could it not attract attention? I just didn't expect them to come so soon. That is fine too. It saves me the trouble of going to find them. The three major chambers of commerce have monopolized all the timber from the western regions to Kangyan, stone, and the slave labor market. All the materials we need to build the city must pass through their trade routes. They are waiting for my reaction. Blocking the riverway was a test to see how tough this new city lord is. Chief, they are simply delusional. First, demanding a total cutoff of all supplies to Kangyan City for the next 10 years. The second demand, the price of stone and timber, is to be 3 times the market rate. And the most outrageous one is this. They demand we hand over the exclusive formulas for our premium snowflake salt and flawless glazed glass. They also said if we don't agree, they will join forces to blockade all trade routes, ensuring not a single stone can be brought in. In my territory, it is not for a few merchants to run wild. I will lead 3,000 iron cavalry right now, flatten their camps, and clear the trade routes. Jingchen, sit down. Warfare requires deep consideration. Besides, if we kill the 3 of them, the trade routes in the western regions will fall into total chaos. When that happens, no merchant caravans will dare come. And where will we get the materials to build the city? To deal with merchants, don't use swords and blades. Use what they care about most, and what they fear the most. I will use a modern financial war to give the people of this era a proper lesson. Oh, Boss Lin is here. The winds and sands of the wasteland are not kind. Have you considered it? Hand over the formulas early, and we can all make money in peace. The conditions you 3 bosses offered, I have reviewed them. The formulas cannot be handed over. That is the foundation of 4C's Pavilion's survival. However, no. I can offer you 3 an opportunity to make a fortune. An opportunity that is 10 times more profitable than obtaining the formulas. Let us sign a bet agreement, or what is known as a futures contract. You want to raise the prices of construction materials, right? Fine. I will buy all the timber and stone you have at a 20% markup over the market price. But I don't have enough ready cash on hand right now. This payment, we will settle in 1 month. As collateral, I will leave these 10 crates of premium glassware and 100 carts of refined salt in your hands for now. In 1 month, if I cannot produce the cash with the 20% markup, these priceless goods, along with all future trade monopolies in Kangyan City, will all be yours for free. If she defaults, we get to swallow up these rare treasures and trade rights for nothing. Even if Lin actually scrapes the money together, we still stand to make a 20% profit. Either way, it is a win-win. Haha. Boss Lin is truly a heroine among women. How refreshing. We'll sign this contract. Boss, are you out of your mind? A 20% markup. That is an astronomical sum. Where are we going to get that much cash? And handing over so much premium merchandise as collateral. That is the same as throwing meat into a wolf's mouth. Wolves. They are at best a bunch of ignorant, short-sighted pigs. Immediately send word to all hidden agents of the Kengsing Chamber of Commerce within the borders of the Great Zhou. Initiate the highest-level commercial warfare protocol. Dump all inventory. Premium refined salt. At 1/10 the price of the 3 major merchant guilds. The month-long deadline is approaching. There has been no movement in the city at all. It seems this collateral and the control rights are already ours for the taking. It is collapsed. It is all collapsed. Where on earth did all that glassware? And refined salt come from? The prices have plummeted. We've lost everything. To secure the treasures and trade rights, we bet everything we had. Now, these so-called treasures here in the western regions can't even fetch the price of an earthenware jar. We've been trapped. It is all over now. Whether it is the dirt-cheap treasures or the materials with the 20% premium, we can't pay them off. The usury from the underground lenders, they are devils who lick blood off the edge of a blade. Boss Lin. The time is up. I've inspected the construction materials. The quality is good. According to the contract, this is the cash I owe you. This silver isn't even enough for half the interest on the underground loans. According to the betting agreement, now that I've cleared the payment for the goods, those pledged glass and salt, I'm taking them back. Lord Lin, Savior Lin, we admit defeat. We admit defeat. We shouldn't have been greedy. Please show mercy and spare our lives. The people from the underground lenders will skin us alive. Spare your lives. Very well. The 3 major merchant guilds will declare bankruptcy. All of their caravans, material mines, and laborers shall be transferred to Kangyan City free of charge, and the 3 of you will be demoted to low-level overseers in Kangyan City, serving here on this wasteland for the rest of your lives. Sign it. I will pay off all your debts to the underground lenders of the western regions. This is your only way to survive. This is the horror of asymmetric warfare. Without mobilizing a single soldier or resorting to any base, humiliating tactics. From that day on, the development of Kangyan City began to take flight. Materials were shipped into the wasteland in a steady stream. The towering city walls were not made of rammed earth, but were built using the modern cement formula I provided. Mixed with mortar, they were cast into impregnable bastion shapes. And inside the city walls, blast furnaces rose one after another. The roar of steel production echoed across this once desolate wasteland. Physician Sun's independent medical clinic was also completed. From my storage space, I allocated a large amount of disinfectant alcohol, antibiotics, and surgical instruments, even those previously numb and hopeless exiled convicts, under the new rules of payment by labor I issued, where more work meant more pay. Burst with astonishing energy and drive, Kangyan City was like a beast crazily absorbing nutrients, a rapidly expanding primeval giant. Kangyan City. Lin Yan. Those formulas. Refined steel that cuts iron like mud. Magical mortar as hard as stone. By what right? How does he get his hands on these? That Shi Jingzuo. With his 50,000 border troops is no pushover. We can't move against him openly, so we'll play dirty. Send an imperial mission to comfort the troops under the royal banner. Have Eunuch Wei lead the team. Bring along those few from the Ministry of Works who know steelmaking to reward the border troops, and along the way, learn their secret formulas. Oh my. The sand and wind here are terrible. General C, you truly have it rough here. His Highness, the Crown Prince, is benevolent. He specifically ordered this servant to bring 100 liters of brown rice and 50 bolts of coarse cloth to reward our border soldiers. This meager offering, compared to the mountains of grain now stored in Canyon City, isn't even a drop in the bucket. The Crown Prince thinks he can brush us off with these beggars' scraps and expect to pry into the reality of Canyon City. It's utterly laughable. You've had a long journey, Eunuch Wei. Simone, take our honored guests from the mission to the finest quarters to rest. Canyon City may be remote, but we would never mistreat such distinguished guests from afar. Whatever the head of the Four Seas Pavilion may be, within the borders of our Great Zhou, don't they still have to obediently listen to our Crown Prince? Master, those few rats from the Ministry of Works, these past few days, have been secretly bribing our outer perimeter staff, inquiring about blast furnace temperatures and the ratio for the mortar. Should I have my guards arrest them? On charges of spying on military intelligence, and deal with them according to military law. Why arrest them? They've traveled such a long way just to learn our techniques. As our guests, how could we dampen the Crown Prince's enthusiasm? Old Lu, I recall that the Ministry of Works iron smelting method, at its highest temperature, can only manage to produce wrought iron, right? Am I correct? The Great Zhou's smelting methods are incomplete. The furnace temperature is insufficient, and they lack knowledge of tempering and carbon ratios. The iron they smelt is brittle, not strong. It cannot even be mentioned in the same breath as our Canyon fine steel. Then what if we give them a set of blueprints that look extremely authentic and detailed, but we tamper with the most critical parts, like the internal furnace pressure control and the cooling times? Master, are you suggesting blowing up their furnace, not just blowing it up? I want it to be a spectacular explosion, one that will bankrupt the Crown Prince. Old Lu, please take this formula and recopy it using the specific jargon and drafting style familiar to the Ministry of Works. Redraft it completely. It must be flawless. Even if the Minister of Works himself were to examine it, he wouldn't be able to find a single fault. They will only see it as a peerless secret manual. I understand. This grand gift, I shall prepare it perfectly. The fish has taken the bait. Prepare the horses. At dawn tomorrow, immediately, we head back to the capital immediately. Safe travels. Your Highness, the Crown Prince. This is a death warrant I have carefully prepared for you. Good. Excellent, simply excellent. With this formula, I can forge the finest steel in the world. Build impregnable city walls. Lin Yan or Shi Jingchen, they will all be nothing but ants beneath my feet. Your Highness. Your Highness is blessed by the heavens. If this steel-making method is widely implemented, not only can we equip our Great Zhou's 100,000-strong Imperial Guard, but also monopolize the trade of all ironware in the realm. That would be an immeasurable mountain of gold and silver. Regarding this matter, there is no need to report it to the Emperor. In my name alone, issue the order. Send invitations to all the noble clans and royal relatives in the capital. Tell them, I am building the largest steel mill in Great Zhou's history. Whoever invests shall be my greatest benefactor once I ascend the throne. His Highness the Crown Prince has arrived. Ignite the furnaces. Your Highness, this is true, fine steel. I told you. This world will be mine sooner or later. What is happening? Your Highness, the furnace pressure is too high. The annealing vent won't open. The temperature won't drop. No. This is impossible. My factory. I have exhausted everything. How? How is it all gone? The scouts report. A chain of furnace explosions at the steel mill outside the capital. Crown Prince Changyu, the Minister of Works, was crushed to death on the spot. The elite clans of the capital have collectively petitioned, demanding that the Crown Prince compensate them for their losses. The old emperor was so enraged he coughed up blood in court. The Crown Prince's position is already hanging by a thread. This is what they call those who commit many injustices will surely fall. He thought that by getting my formula, he could get the better of me. But he didn't understand that some things, without the matching industrial foundation and a reverence for science, if you try to force them down, you will only burst your own gut. Now, he is trapped in a quagmire, saddled with insurmountable debts. In terms of influence, he has lost the support of all the noble clans. Now, he is constrained at every turn, trapped in a position with no way out. Other than throwing helpless rages in the palace, he can do nothing. Next, the great Zhou court will surely fall into deeper internal strife. As they fight for the succession, they no longer have time to worry about this wasteland. Jingchen, our phase of lying low and gathering strength ends here. Starting tomorrow, Canyon City will open its gates and open up trade with the outside territories. I want to push our trade routes across the entire north. Chief. General. It worked. It worked. Good. Very good. Minister Zhou, you have achieved a monumental feat. After the start of spring, we will promote winter wheat throughout the city. I will ensure that the granaries of Canyon will always be full. With these tender green wheat seedlings breaking through the soil, Canyon City officially sounded the horn of an economic counterattack against the decaying Great Zhou dynasty. In the third month of early spring, the Canyon wasteland welcomed the most magnificent harvest in history. The granaries of Canyon City were so full that the gates could barely close. At the same time, the Great Zhou dynasty officially began its countdown. The old emperor was paralyzed and bedridden, and while the crown prince acted as regent, he was burdened with astronomical debts and had completely lost control of the military. Great Zhou entered an era of fragmentation, a meat grinder age of warlord infighting. Reporting to the city lord, General Marquis Zhao Kuo of Pingnan, General Li Hu of Zhendong, and Commander Sun of Yunzhou have formed a punitive alliance. They have scraped together an army of 100,000 and are advancing on Canyon. 100,000. It seems Canyon City's reputation is a bit too big. People die for wealth, just as birds die for food. The Great Zhou's national treasury is empty. They know that inside Canyon City, there is endless grain, refined steel, and treasures from the western regions. These 100,000 men have come specifically to plunder. Shall I take the black armor cavalry out and intercept them outside the Yanmen Pass? No. Jingchen. Among these 100,000 men, 99,000 of them are just ordinary farmers forcibly conscripted by the warlords. They can't even get enough to eat. What they are holding in their hands are probably nothing more than rusted wood choppers or sharpened bamboo poles. Slaughtering them all would be such a waste. Let them come. I intend to use these 100,000 men to set a precedent for all the factions. I want everyone to understand that Canyon City is a steel fortress they will never be able to overcome. Lin Yan, Shi Jingchen, you have occupied Canyon without authorization. What is your intention? If you are sensible, open the city gates and surrender immediately. Hand over all your food and secret formulas, and this marquis may yet leave your corpses intact. Otherwise, my army of 100,000 will trample Canyon flat and leave you with no place to be buried. When dealing with people like this, any verbal argument is a waste of time. The truth only exists within the range of one's firepower. Launch the hot air balloons. Prepare the cannons. Sorcery. They're using sorcery. Do not retreat. Whoever dares to retreat will be executed. That is nothing but a trick of the eye. Fire. This is a warning. The scrap metal in your hands can't even scratch the walls of Canyon City. If I wanted to wipe you all out, I wouldn't need a single soldier to leave the city. Within half an hour, this wasteland would become your graveyard. I do not kill the impoverished. You have been starving for a long time. Your commander wears fine silks and satins, yet feeds you tree bark soup, and even if you die here, you won't receive a single grain of compensation. Set up the cooking pots. Now, drop your weapons. As long as you are willing to join Canyon, I, Lin Yan, guarantee that everyone will have a big bowl of white rice to eat today, and 2 large pieces of braised pork. Not only that, Canyon City will allocate land to you, issue you new clothes, and allow you to live with dignity, earning your money honestly. We surrender. We want to eat. The city lord is generous and kind. We won't fight anymore. You traitors, get back up. No surrendering. My lord Marquess, forgive us. The men just want to survive. Subduing the enemy without fighting. Lin Yan, this battle was fought beautifully. This is what we call the economic base determining the superstructure. Open the city gates, receive the labor force, use the old rules, screen them at the assessment camp, filter out the rogue soldiers and bullies, and judge them according to Kangyan law. The ordinary able-bodied men should all be drafted into the infrastructure corps and the reserves. The warlords of the Great Zhou have been scared off by us. They won't dare to invade again in the short term. Militarily, we have already made ourselves invincible. But that is not enough. Although the Great Zhou court exists in name only, as long as they are still issuing that worthless paper currency and continuing to fleece the people, the common people under heaven will never know peace. Kangyan currency. This is what I've created based on Kangyan City's current vast gold reserves and grain stockpiles to issue a truly stable hard currency. Behind every Kangyan banknote, there is actual, solid gold and grain backing it as a standard. Anyone holding Kangyan currency can at any time at the Kangsing Chamber of Commerce's banks redeem it for an equivalent value of silver or grain. This is vastly different from the Dazhou Imperial Court, which crazily overprints currency to fill its deficits, leading to worthless paper money and severe inflation. They are worlds apart. Starting tomorrow, the Kangsing Chamber of Commerce will, throughout all of Dazhou, fully implement the Kangyan currency. In all of Dazhou's underground black markets, grain shops, and salt shops, it is announced that only silver and Kangyan currency are accepted for transactions. We refuse to accept the Dazhou Imperial Court's banknotes. At the same time, let word spread that as long as you hold Kangyan currency, you can come to Kangyan City to buy high-quality steel farming tools, Western region spices, and the cheapest high-quality salt. This is a bloodless strangulation. When a currency with high credibility that can be redeemed for life essentials appears, the Dazhou commoners and merchants holding those constantly depreciating banknotes will find them turned into waste paper. The law of bad money driving out good is based on the use of force. But when that force collapses, good money will thoroughly destroy the market for bad money. I want to make Dazhou's economic system, within 3 months, come to a complete standstill, as you command. Article 1 of the Kangyan marriage law. Between a husband and wife, status shall be equal. Share the storms together. Share the glory together. For a lifetime. Never to abandon or forsake one another. Lin Yi. My sword, my life, along with this city, from this day forward, all belong only to you. Shi Jingchen. Pleasure working with you. Inviting the wolf into the house, betraying the country for glory. That useless crown prince of the Great Zhou, amidst total economic collapse and the desperate plight of warlords fighting across the land to save his crumbling throne, has made a deranged and treasonous decision. He has sent secret envoys, carrying vast riches and treaties to cede territory, to cross the Great Wall and deal with the most brutal nomadic tribe in the north, the Sky Wolf tribe, and has signed a humiliating secret pact. The terms of this pact are appalling. The Crown Prince has promised the Yanyan 16 prefectures, this region serving as the barrier for the Central Plains, which, for generations, has been a strategic stronghold guarded by the blood of countless soldiers, to be handed over to the Sky Wolf tribe. Not only that, he has also promised that, once it is done, the Great Joe will pay annual tribute to the Sky Wolf tribe and bow in vassalage. And the condition he demanded in exchange was for the Sky Wolf tribe to mobilize 200,000 elite cavalry to cross the border and suppress the rebel armies for him, and to completely raze Canyon City to the ground. Once the Yanyan 16 prefectures are lost, the heartland of the Central Plains will have no defense left. The Sky Wolf tribe is inherently brutal, sweeping through everything like a plague of locusts, leaving no one alive. This Crown Prince is willing to drag all the common people of this land down into the grave with him. He has gone mad. The Crown Prince is gambling. He knows our Canyon currency has completely crushed the Great Joe's economy. He knows warlords could march on the capital at any moment. He has no cards left to play. So he has brought out the sharpest, yet most uncontrollable foreign blade. But he miscalculated one thing. He thinks Canyon City is just a place that only knows how to trade, and a turtle shell that only knows how to defend. He thinks the Sky Wolf tribe's 200,000 iron cavalry is an invincible force unmatched in this era. Jingchen, order the entire army, cancel all leave, load up with supplies, and deploy the heavy artillery, since the Imperial Army of the Great Joe has abandoned its own territory. Then this land we of Canyon shall defend. This subordinate obeys. I swear to defend the Central Plains and bury the invaders' iron hooves beyond the passes. This is not a civil war to seize power, but a battle to defend civilization and resist foreign invaders, a battle for our very survival. This battle is not for titles or wealth, but to protect the innocent people behind me from being slaughtered by the invaders. Canyon Army, march! The Emperor of the Great Joe is truly a coward. Without even a fight, he obediently hands this vast world over to me. Warriors, once were inside, gold and silver, women and grain. Loot as you please for 3 days and 3 nights. Artillery battalion, set range to 1,500 paces. Extended fire. Fire. Don't panic. Charge. There are only a few of them. Rush over and cut them down. All forces attack. Open the gates. Welcome the Canyon Army into the pass. The Great Joe royal family has rotted to its core. A court like this, the longer it exists, the more it is a torment to the people. Jingchen. Here, pass the order. The army will not rest. March directly south. We are going to drag that traitorous prince off the dragon throne. Understood. Welcome, Canyon. Punish the national traitor. City Lord, the artillery has been calibrated. We can blow open the city gate at any moment. There is no need to use artillery. In this city, there are millions of innocent people. I do not want to use cannon fire to destroy their homes. Elder Lu, launch the hot air balloons. Spread the prepared leaflets to every corner of the capital. Yes, sir. The great Zhou prince has betrayed his country for personal gain. It is an intolerable sin. The Kangjin army only seeks to punish the ringleader and will never harm the innocent. Lay down your weapons. Those who open the gates to welcome our army will be forgiven for their past deeds. We will distribute food and aid. Those who resist to the end shall be deemed guilty just like the traitor. Is it worth dying for a fallen ruler who betrayed his country? Is it worth it? Lin Yan, you have won. Do what you will to me. But I am the crown prince of Great Zhou, the true son of heaven. You cannot use such lowly methods to humiliate me. The true son of heaven. The world belongs to the people of the world. There has never been such a thing as a true son of heaven. You do not understand that the water that carries the boat can also capsize it. Being abandoned by this land and its people was only a matter of time. Guards, take this traitor who sold out the nation and harmed the people, as well as all the corrupt officials involved, and hand them over to the Kangyun Supreme Court. Strip them of all their privileges. They shall be tried publicly according to Kangyun law. Let it be proclaimed to the whole world. End 7. No, Jing Chen. This is only the beginning. Commander. Now that the people have united, the great Zhou has fallen. A nation cannot go a day without a ruler. We ask that the commander follow the will of heaven and ascend the throne as emperor. Please, commander, ascend the throne. Rise. What era do you think this is? Still playing this game of rotating emperors, taking turns on the throne. Imperial power is a cursed system. It ties the fate of the nation to the whims and moods of a single person. If today we have a wise ruler, there is peace under heaven. If tomorrow we have a tyrant, the people will suffer. We fought our way here to overthrow the great Zhou, not just to swap one surname for another and keep exploiting the people. If I were to sit in that seat today, then how would I be any different from that deposed emperor? Melt this dragon throne down, cast it into coins, and add them to the national treasury. The great Zhou is now history. From this day forward, the new regime established on this land shall be named the Huaxia United City-States. The imperial system is abolished. There shall be no emperor. The Kangyun Code is elevated to the supreme national constitution. The supreme organ of state power, the Senate, shall be composed of elected representatives from every province. Under the Senate, we shall establish the administrative, legislative, and judicial branches with a separation of powers. And I, Lin Yan, shall serve as the first chief executive of the Huaxia United City-States. The term of office is 5 years. She, Jing Chen, will serve as the commander-in-chief of the National Defense Force to thoroughly nationalize the military, solely responsible for defending the territory and never interfering in internal affairs. The chief executive's broad-mindedness and vision for the future is as brilliant as the sun and moon. This old man is completely convinced. I will dedicate my all to the Huaxia city-state. A new era began officially with this bloodless political transformation. It had begun. He became the first minister of agriculture. He traveled across the length and breadth of the land, and the fields once laid waste by war and exploitation bloomed with life once again. Sun Sibo, serving as minister of health, established medical centers everywhere. He combined the fundamental medical principles I provided with traditional medicine, dramatically lowering the neonatal mortality rate and the outbreak rate of infectious diseases. As for Lu Mingyuan, he fully unleashed his infrastructure fanatic nature, a network of concrete roads spread out like a spider web, connecting all the major provinces and prefectures. Reviewing files until this hour again. You, as chief executive, work harder than the emperors of the past. The hardship is only temporary. Once this system is fully mature and functional, I will not seek re-election. I will hand over the reins of power to the next generation of elected young people. When that time comes, I'll take you to the western regions to see where our Kangsing Chamber of Commerce first began. Okay. Wherever you go, I will go. These 10,000 miles of mountains and rivers, I have guarded for you like an iron fortress. Jingchen, look. No emperor, no powerful nobles, and yet this world can still function very well. Even better. Because of you. No. Because of the rules. I, Lin Yan, what I am most proud of in this life is not how much money I have made, nor how much power I have wielded, but that I personally shattered an old man-eating world, and upon its ruins, established a new order based on equality and the rule of law. Everyone is equal before the law. The world belongs to all of its people. My destiny, from the moment I signed my name, has been held solely in my own hands from now on. I am my own destiny.